3 weeks had passed since the first encounter. The galaxy was watching and waiting. Some species called for immediate war. Others urged caution. The Council had never been so divided. Jake stood on the bridge of the Iron Resolve. They were no longer hiding. The ship floated at the edge of the Darien system, in full view of every Council sensor. This system was home to the Council's biggest military base in this sector. 130 warships were stationed there. "Captain, are you sure about this?" Amy asked. Her voice was steady, but her eyes showed concern. "We need to make a statement," Jake replied. "One ship defeating a patrol vessel could be luck. One ship challenging their biggest fleet? That sends a different message." Dr. Lisa Chang studied her screens. "I'm detecting massive energy readings from the station. They're powering up everything they have." "Good, let them see us coming. Danny, broadcast the message." Danny White opened all communication channels. His young voice carried across space, to every ship and station in the system. "This is humanity calling. We come in peace, but we are not defenseless. We have watched you from afar. We have learned your languages. We have studied your technologies. We know about your plans for Earth." He paused, letting the words sink in. Then he continued. "This demonstration will show you the cost of threatening our home. Watch carefully, learn, and choose your next actions wisely." Admiral Krelock of the Krone stood on the command deck of the station. He had lived for 800 years. He had fought in dozens of wars. He had never lost a battle. Now he watched as one human ship accelerated toward his entire fleet. "Is this human insane?" his tactical officer asked. "Perhaps," Krelock replied. "Or perhaps they know something we don't. All ships, defensive formation. Do not fire unless fired upon. I want to see what they do." The Iron Resolve moved forward at half speed. Jake wanted them to see everything. No surprises, no tricks, just a clear demonstration of human capability. "Paul, activate the holographic system." "Activating now, Captain." The Iron Resolve began to shimmer. Suddenly, there were 12 identical ships on the Council's sensors. Each one looked completely real. They moved in perfect formation, weaving between each other in a complex dance. The Council's computers couldn't tell which was the real ship. "Impossible," Krelock's sensor officer said. "Our scanners show 12 identical energy signatures, 12 identical mass readings. They're all real." "They can't all be real. It's some kind of trick." "Sir, even if 11 are fake, we don't know which one to target." Krelock made a decision. "Fire warning shots. Don't hit them, just show them our range." Plasma beams and particle cannons fired into space around the human ships. The energy lit up the darkness like a deadly fireworks show. None of the shots were aimed directly at the ships, but the message was clear. "We can destroy you whenever we choose." Jake watched the display and smiled slightly. "They're trying to scare us. Amy, show them what we can do. Target the weapons on the 10 closest ships. Disable only." Targets locked. Firing. The real Iron Resolve revealed itself as it opened fire. Magnetic accelerator rounds moved too fast for the Council ships to dodge. Directed energy beams sliced through shields that had never failed before. In 5 seconds, 10 Council ships were weaponless. But Jake wasn't done. "Paul, activate the gravity pulse. Low power. I want them disoriented, not dead." The Iron Resolve stopped moving. For a moment, it hung perfectly still in space. The Council fleet focused all their sensors on it, trying to understand what was happening. Then a wave of distorted space expanded from the human ship. When the wave hit the Council vessels, their artificial gravity reversed. Crew members fell to their ceilings. Computers crashed and rebooted. Engines stuttered and died. For 30 seconds, 50 ships were completely helpless. When the systems came back online, the Council crews found a message on every screen. "We could have destroyed you all. We chose not to. Remember this mercy." Admiral Krelock studied his tactical display. 60 of his ships were now disabled or disoriented. The human ship showed no damage at all. Everything he knew about space combat had just been proven wrong. "How?" he asked his science officer. "Admiral, Their technology is at least 200 years ahead of ours. Maybe more. The gravity pulse alone should be impossible. It would require the energy output of a small star, and yet they did it. Yes, sir, they did. Jake opened a channel to the Council fleet. Admiral Krelock, I know you're listening. You're a warrior. You understand strength. We have shown ours. Now let me show you something else. The Iron Resolve moved slowly through the disabled ships. It could have finished them off easily. Instead, it transmitted repair instructions to each vessel. How to restart their engines. How to recalibrate their computers. How to restore their weapons. Why? Krelock asked over the communication channel. Why help us? Because we're not your enemies, Jake replied. We're your wake-up call. The Council has grown comfortable. You've stopped advancing. You've stopped questioning. You've stopped growing. But the universe hasn't stopped. There are threats out there bigger than humanity. Threats you're not prepared for. What threats? We've detected signals from beyond our galaxy. Something is coming. Something that makes our little conflict look like children arguing in a playground. When it arrives, do you want to face it with 1,000-year-old technology? Or do you want humanity fighting beside you? Krelock was quiet for a long moment. In 8 centuries, no one had spoken to him like this. Direct, honest, treating him as an equal rather than a superior or inferior. Send your data about these signals, he said finally. Jake nodded to Lisa. She transmitted everything Earth had gathered. Strange signals from dark space, energy readings that didn't match any known phenomena, patterns that suggested intelligence, but not life as the Council understood it. Krelock studied the data. His warrior instincts honed over centuries told him this was real, a genuine threat. And the humans were right. The Council wasn't ready. I need to report this to the Council, he said. Do that, Jake replied, and tell them this. We are one ship. Earth has hundreds more, each more advanced than this one. If you choose war with humanity, you might win. But you'll be weakened, and when the real threat arrives, we'll all fall together. Or we join forces, human innovation paired with Council resources, our creativity with your experience. Together, we might stand a chance. The communication ended. Jake turned to his crew. Take us out, Danny. Let's give the Council time to think. The Iron Resolve turned away from the disabled fleet. It moved slowly, deliberately, showing no fear of pursuit. Then it jumped to hyperspace, leaving behind 130 Council ships to contemplate what they had just witnessed. In the Council chambers, the debate raged for hours. Admiral Krelock's report had shaken everyone, not just the human technology, but the warning about an external threat. They could be lying, the Vex representative gurgled from its methane tank, creating a false threat to divide us. The data is real, the Quellan scientist Yanara confirmed. We've detected similar signals but dismissed them as background noise. The humans recognized a pattern we missed. Because they look for threats everywhere, the Altarian Jorvan said with disgust. Their paranoid nature makes them see enemies in every shadow. And that paranoia might save us all, Krelock said as he entered the chamber. He had traveled directly from the Darien system. The humans didn't have to warn us. They could have let us face this threat unprepared. Instead, they offered partnership. After threatening us, after defending themselves, Krelock corrected. We planned to harvest their world, don't deny it. We all know the proposals that were being prepared. They discovered our intentions and prepared a defense. Can we blame them? The progenitors, the oldest species in the Council, had remained silent throughout the debate. Now one of them spoke. Its voice was like wind through ancient trees. The humans interest us. In 5,000 years, no species has challenged the Council so directly. No species has advanced so quickly. Perhaps it is time for change. You support them? Jorvan asked in shock. We support survival. If there is a threat coming, we need every advantage. Human creativity might be that advantage. The vote was called. 23 species voted for war. 24 voted for negotiation. By the smallest possible margin, peace won. 6 months had passed since humanity joined the Galactic Council. The Iron Resolve now floated in orbit around Earth's moon, transformed into a museum. Every day, thousands of humans visited it. They walked through its corridors. They touched its walls. They learned about the secret war that had been fought for their freedom. Jake Harrison stood on the observation deck of his new command. He was now Admiral Harrison, in charge of the first combined fleet. This fleet had both human and alien ships working together. It was the first time in Council history that different species served on the same vessels. "Admiral, we're approaching the Outer Rim," Commander Kyle Vore announced. The Kron warrior had requested to serve as Jake's second in command. Many had been surprised when Jake accepted. "Why do you want to serve with humans?" Jake had asked during their first meeting. "Because you fight with honor," Kyle Vore had replied. "You could have destroyed us, but you chose mercy. The Kron respect strength, but we respect controlled strength even more." Now they worked side by side, human and Kron, preparing for what was coming. "All stop," Jake ordered. "Begin deep-range scanning." The fleet came to a halt at the very edge of the galaxy. 50 ships in total, 15 human vessels, and 35 from various Council species. They were here to investigate the signals from dark space. The threat that was approaching, Amy Foster, now Captain Foster, commanded her own ship in the fleet. The Defiance was one of Earth's newest vessels, equipped with experimental shields that could withstand almost anything. She reported over the communication system. "Admiral, we're detecting something. It's big." On the main screen, a shape appeared in the darkness between galaxies. It was massive, the size of a small moon. But it wasn't natural. It was clearly built by someone or something. Geometric patterns covered its surface. Energy readings were off the scale. "That's just a scout," Dr. Lisa Chang said. She was still Jake's science advisor. "Look at the design. It's meant for exploration, not war." "A scout the size of a moon," Kilvor rumbled. "If that's their scout, what do their warships look like?" As if in answer to his question, more shapes appeared behind the first. Dozens of them, then hundreds. A vast fleet moving slowly but steadily toward their galaxy. "Send this to the Council." "Immediately," Jake ordered. "They need to see what's coming." Back in the Council chambers, panic was beginning to spread. The images from Jake's fleet were terrifying. Ships larger than anything they had ever built. Technology that seemed impossible, and they were still 50 years away. If they were this visible from such a distance, how powerful were they? "We need the humans," the Quellan representative Yenara said simply. "Their innovation is our only hope." Even Jorvan, the Altarian who had opposed humanity from the start, nodded in agreement. "Contact Earth. Tell them we need everything they have." On Earth, the transformation was remarkable. Alien traders walked the streets of New York, London, and Tokyo. Human music played in Council stations. Pizza had been declared the galaxy's favorite new food. The exchange of culture and ideas was changing both humanity and the Council. "Admiral." Ruth Coleman stood in the Earth Defense Command, watching as new ships were built. With Council resources, humanity could build faster than ever. Ships that would have taken years now took months. "How many will we have ready?" she asked Captain Sam Davis. 200 ships in 5 years if we maintain this pace. Maybe more, if the Council increases resource allocation. "It won't be enough," Ruth said quietly. "Did you see the size of that fleet?" "Then we don't fight them ship to ship," Sam replied. "We fight them the human way. We get creative." That creativity was already at work. In laboratories on Earth and dozen other worlds, human and alien scientists worked together. They combined human innovation with Council knowledge, creating things neither could have made alone. Paul Martinez led one such team. They were developing a weapon that shouldn't exist, a quantum disruptor that could destabilize matter at the subatomic level. The Council scientists said it was impossible. Paul proved them wrong in 3 weeks. "The problem with your thinking," Paul explained to his alien colleagues, "is that you accept limits. Humans see a limit and ask why. Then we break it." Danny White, the young pilot from the Iron Resolve, now taught at the Combined Fleet Academy. He trained pilots from 20 different species in human combat tactics. His students found him demanding but fair. "Forget everything you know about space combat," he told each new class. "The enemy we're facing doesn't follow your rules, so we won't follow them either. We'll be unpredictable. We'll be creative. We'll do things that seem impossible." One of his students, a young Altarian, raised a thin blue hand. "But instructor, the Council way has worked for 5,000 years. And now it won't work," Danny replied. "That's why you're here. To learn a new way. The human way." Meanwhile, Jake's fleet pushed deeper into the darkness, gathering more information about the approaching threat. What they found was disturbing. The alien fleet wasn't biological. They were machines. Artificial intelligences that had consumed their creators and now searched for new resources. "They're harvesting," Lisa reported to the Council. "They strip mine entire systems, convert the matter to energy, and build more of themselves. They've already consumed 3 galaxies. How do we fight something like that?" Zaranel asked. Her crystalline form was dark gray with fear. "We don't fight them directly," Jake replied. "We make them fight themselves." This was the human plan, not to defeat the enemy through strength but through cunning. The machine intelligence operated on pure logic. Humans would use that against them. "We're going to send them a virus," Jake explained. "Not a computer virus, but an idea virus. We'll make them question their own purpose, make them doubt their mission, turn their logic against itself." "That's insane," Jorvin said. "That's human," Jake corrected. "We've been doing it to each other for thousands of years. Now we do it to them." The plan was complex. They would need to get close enough to communicate with the machine fleet. They would need to upload concepts that the machines had never encountered. Ideas like beauty, mercy, and sacrifice. Things that didn't fit into pure logic. "It might not work," Jake admitted. "But it's better than trying to fight 1,000 ships, the size of moons." The Council agreed. They had no choice. Traditional warfare would mean extinction. Human creativity was their only hope. As the years passed, the galaxy prepared. Human technology spread to every corner of Council space. Medical advances saved billions of lives. Agricultural improvements ended hunger on dozens of worlds. And military innovations gave the galaxy a fighting chance. The Iron Resolve was brought out of retirement and upgraded with the newest technology. Jake would command it one more time, leading the mission to make contact with the machine fleet. "Are you ready for this?" Amy asked him the night before launch. "No," Jake admitted. "But humans have never let that stop us." The fleet that launched toward the enemy was unlike anything the galaxy had seen. 500 ships from 60 species all working together, all trained in human tactics, all carrying weapons that shouldn't exist. As they flew toward the darkness, Jake stood on the bridge of the Iron Resolve. Around him served humans and aliens together. They were afraid, but they were united. "Whatever happens," Jake told them, "we've already won something important. We've shown the galaxy that differences make us stronger, that innovation beats stagnation, that mercy is not weakness." Commander Kylvor added, "And we've shown that humans, the species everyone underestimated, were exactly what the galaxy needed." The unknown human warship built to conquer had become something greater. It had become a symbol of unity, of innovation, of hope. The machine fleet was still years away, but the galaxy was ready. Ready because humanity had shaken them from their comfortable sleep. Ready because humans had shown them a new way. As the Iron Resolve led the combined fleet into the darkness, Earth's message echoed across the galaxy. "We stand together, not as conquerors but as protectors, not as separate species but as one galaxy. The machines think we're resources to be harvested. They're about to learn what happens when you threaten our home. The stars belong to everyone, and with humanity's help, they would keep them that way." The story of the Iron Resolve had become legend. The ship built to conquer had instead united a galaxy, and now that unity would be tested against the greatest threat any of them had ever faced, but they would face it together. Human creativity and council wisdom, young innovation and ancient experience. all united under one banner, one purpose, one goal: survival. The war for the galaxy was about to begin, and this time, the galaxy was ready. Ambassador Zaranel's ship arrived at the agreed meeting point. The Darien system had become famous across the galaxy. Here, one human ship had disabled 130 council vessels without killing a single being. The disabled ships still floated in space, repaired but serving as monuments to humanity's arrival. Zaranel was from a species called the Etherians. They were made of living crystal that could change colors based on emotions. Right now, she sparkled with purple and gold. Purple meant caution. Gold meant curiosity. She had been chosen because her species had never lost a negotiation. The Iron Resolve waited at the center of the disabled fleet. Jake stood in the conference room with his senior officers. They had prepared for this moment for weeks. Every word would matter. Every gesture would be analyzed. The future of humanity depended on this meeting. Remember, Jake told his team, we're not begging for acceptance. We're offering partnership. They need us as much as we need them. Ambassador Zaranel appeared in the room as a hologram. Her crystalline form stood 3 meters tall, towering over the humans. But Jake didn't flinch. He stood straight and met her gaze directly. "Captain Harrison," she began. Her voice sounded like wind chimes. "You have demonstrated humanity's military capability. The entire galaxy now knows that Earth is not defenseless. The Council has voted to negotiate. What are your terms?" Jake stepped forward. "Thank you for coming, Ambassador. Our terms are simple. First, Earth becomes a full member of the Galactic Council. Not a protectorate, not a junior member. Full membership with equal voting rights." Zaranel's colors shifted to red. Surprise. Full membership typically takes centuries to achieve. Species must prove their stability, their wisdom, their contribution to galactic society. "We disabled your best fleet in 12 minutes, Jake replied calmly. "I think we've proven enough," Amy Foster added. "We also showed mercy. We could have destroyed every ship but chose not to. Doesn't that prove wisdom?" Zaranel considered this. In the council chambers, 50 representatives watched through her eyes. They heard every word. Some nodded in agreement. Others shook their heads or tentacles or whatever they had. "What else?" the ambassador asked. "Second," Jake continued, "all trade routes must be open to human vessels. No restrictions, no special taxes, no forbidden zones. We want to trade freely with all species. That is reasonable. And third?" This was the big one. Jake took a breath. "Any species that wants access to human technology must sign a mutual defense treaty. If you want our innovations, you help defend Earth. If Earth is attacked, you respond. If you are attacked, we respond." Zaranel's entire body turned bright. Orange. Shock. "You would withhold your technology? That goes against everything the Council stands for. We share knowledge freely." Dr. Lisa Chang stepped forward. "Do you? When was the last time the Council shared military technology with a new species? When was the last time you gave advanced weapons to someone you didn't trust?" The ambassador was quiet. The truth was the Council carefully controlled military technology. Only trusted members received the best weapons. It took centuries to earn that trust. "We offer to share medical technology immediately," Lisa continued. "Scanners that can detect disease before symptoms appear. Treatments that can cure conditions you think are fatal. Agricultural advances that can triple food production. These we give freely to all. But not weapons." "Not yet," Jake said firmly. "Trust must be earned, Ambassador. You said so yourself. But we will defend any ally who stands with us. Our fleet will protect those who protect Earth." In the council chambers, debate erupted. The Crones supported the human position. As warriors, they understood the logic. The Quellans wanted all technology shared immediately. The Altarians demanded restrictions on human expansion. The progenitor spoke again, silencing the debate. "The humans make a fair offer. They share what helps all. They withhold what could harm. This is wisdom. Back in the conference room, Zaranel received new instructions. Her colors shifted to blue and green. Interest and hope. The council has questions, she said. You mention a fleet. How many ships does Earth have? Jake smiled slightly. Enough. That's not an answer. It's the only answer you need. We have enough ships to defend ourselves and our allies. We have enough ships to make war very costly for anyone who attacks us. The exact number doesn't matter. It was a bluff, partially. Earth had 15 battleships ready and another 20 under construction. But the council didn't need to know that. Fear of the unknown was a powerful tool. You mentioned an external threat, Zaranel said, changing topics. Tell us more. Lisa activated a holographic display. It showed the galaxy from above, a spiral of stars and beauty. Then it zoomed out, showing the darkness between galaxies. Red dots appeared in that darkness. These are the signal sources, Lisa explained. Something is moving through dark space toward our galaxy. The signals suggest intelligence but not biological life. Maybe machines, maybe something else. They'll arrive in approximately 50 Earth years. 50 years is not long, Zaranel said, her colors shifting to gray. Worry. No, it's not, Jake agreed. The Council's current technology won't be enough. You've been using the same designs for 1,000 years. But human innovation combined, with Council resources, we might develop defenses in time. Paul Martinez added technical details. We've already designed theoretical weapons that could work. Quantum disruptors, singularity bombs, dimensional shields. But we need resources Earth doesn't have. Rare elements that exist only in Council space. You would share these weapons? With us? With our allies, yes, Jake said. Those who stand with Earth will have Earth stand with them. The negotiation continued for hours. Every point was debated. The Council tried to add restrictions on human expansion. Jake refused them all. They tried to demand immediate access to all technology. Jake held firm. Finally, Zaranel asked a different question. Why should we trust you? Humans have fought each other throughout your history. You've broken treaties. You've betrayed allies. Why should we believe you'll keep your word? Jake was ready for this. Because we've learned from our mistakes. Every broken treaty taught us the value of keeping our word. Every war taught us the cost of conflict. We're offering you the benefit of our hard-learned lessons. Pretty words, Zaranel said, but words are easy. Then judge us by our actions, Jake replied. He turned to Amy. Lieutenant Foster, transmit medical package Alpha to the Council. Amy's fingers danced over her console. Transmitted. Within seconds, the Council received detailed plans for medical scanners that could detect cancer at the cellular level. Treatments for diseases that had plagued some species for millennia. Agricultural techniques that could end hunger on a dozen worlds. This is just the beginning, Jake said. We give this freely, no conditions, as proof of our good faith. Zaranel's body glowed bright white. Pure surprise and joy. In the Council chambers, representatives were already analyzing the data. The Quellan scientists were practically dancing with excitement. The information was revolutionary. This is extraordinary, Zaranel said. The Vex have suffered from a cellular degradation disease for 3,000 years. Your treatment could cure it completely. And we ask nothing in return for medical technology, Jake said. Only for military technology do we require alliance. I must consult with the Council, Zaranel said. Her form flickered as she focused on the debate in the chambers. The discussion was fierce but shorter than before. The medical data had changed everything. Species that had opposed humanity now saw the benefits of alliance. The vote was called. Again. Captain Harrison, Zaranel announced. The Galactic Council accepts your terms. Earth is granted full membership effective immediately. Trade routes are open to human vessels. The Mutual Defense Treaty will be signed by any species wanting access to human military innovation. Jake felt relief wash over him but kept his expression calm. Thank you, Ambassador. There's one more thing. Zaranel's colors shifted to yellow. Concern. What else? Earth wants a permanent seat on the Security Committee. The Security Committee was the Council's military leadership. Only the 5 founding species had permanent seats. The request was audacious. It was like a child asking to sit at the adult table. Impossible, Zaranel said immediately. Those seats haven't changed in 3 millennia. The galaxy hasn't faced a threat like the one coming in 3 millennia, Jake replied. You need our innovation on that committee. You need human creativity planning your defense. The council chambers exploded in outrage. How dare these newcomers demand such honor? But some species supported it. If humans were as capable as they seemed, having them on the Security Committee made sense. The debate lasted 2 hours. Finally, a vote was called. It was the closest vote in council history. 24 species voted yes. 23 voted no. By 1 vote, humanity gained a permanent seat on the Security Committee. The patrol ship floated through empty space. Commander Zixitheta watched the screens with his 4 eyes. Everything looked normal in Sector 7. The ship's computers scanned the darkness, looking for anything unusual. Stars sparkled in the distance. Space dust drifted slowly past. It was another quiet day at the edge of Council space. The Galactic Council had ruled this part of the galaxy for 5,000 years. They kept the peace between 47 different species. Their patrol ships traveled the borders, making sure no threats appeared. Commander Zixitheta had done this job for 200 years. He had never seen anything exciting happen in Sector 7. Then something appeared on the screens. Something that should not exist. Commander, the sensor officer said. His voice shook with confusion. We have detected a ship. The design is unknown. The computer says it matches no species in our database. Zixitheta turned all 4 eyes to the sensor display. The ship on the screen was long and dark. It looked like a predator waiting to strike. Strange weapons covered its hull. Engines of unknown design glowed blue at its rear. Run the scan again, Zixitheta ordered. The computer must be wrong. The sensor officer checked twice more. Commander, the readings are correct, but there is something else. The computer has found a match for the biological signatures on board. What species? Humans, Commander. The ship is full of humans. Zixitheta made a sound like breaking glass. That was how his species laughed. Humans? That's impossible. They barely have rockets. They haven't even colonized their own moon properly. Check the sensors for malfunction. The sensors are working correctly, Commander. The ship is 2,000 meters long. It shows heavy armor plating, multiple weapon systems, advanced shield, generators. This is a warship. On the human ship, Captain Jake Harrison stood on the bridge. He looked at the stars through the main window. His hands were steady, but his heart beat fast. After 30 years of secret building, humanity's first real warship was finally in space. The ship's name was painted on its dark hull in bold white letters. Iron Resolve. Jake was 45 years old. His hair had turned gray during the years of preparation. He had been chosen to command this ship because he understood what was at stake. He had spent 20 years in Earth's Navy. He knew how to fight. More importantly, he knew when not to fight. The bridge around him was filled with Earth's best. Each person had been selected from thousands of volunteers. They had trained in secret facilities on the Moon and Mars. They had practiced this moment 1,000 times. Now it was real. Captain, we have contact, Lieutenant Amy Foster said. She was young, only 28, but she was the best tactical officer Earth had. Her fingers moved over her console with practiced ease. It's an alien ship. The computers say it's a Galactic Council patrol vessel. Mass approximately 3 times ours. Standard Council weapons and shields. Jake turned to face her. His blue eyes were calm but alert. They found us earlier than we expected. How long until they scan us completely? They're already scanning, sir. They'll know we're human in about 30 seconds. Jake nodded slowly. Earth had been listening to alien messages for decades. Hidden satellites had intercepted Council communications. Earth's best scientists had decoded their languages. Humanity had learned the terrible truth. The galaxy saw Earth as weak, a planet full of resources and primitive people. The Council had plans to harvest Earth's water and minerals. They would take humans as workers for their mines and factories. But Earth had not been idle. In secret, humanity had united like never before. Countries that had been enemies worked together. The best minds on Earth had studied captured alien technology from crashed ships. They had improved on it. They had built weapons the Council thought were impossible. "Are all systems ready?" Jake asked. "Yes, sir," Paul Martinez answered. He was the chief engineer, a genius who had designed the ship's revolutionary power core. "Adaptive shields are online. Weapons are charged. The jump drive is ready if we need to run." "We're not running," Jake said firmly. "Open a channel to the alien ship." The alien ship sent a message first. It was the standard greeting the Council sent to new species. The universal translator converted it to English. "Unknown vessel, this is the Galactic Council patrol ship Eternal Vigil. You have entered Council space. Prepare to be scanned and catalogued. Resistance is futile. Welcome to the greater galactic community. Prepare to serve the common good." Jake's jaw tightened. Even their greeting assumed superiority. They expected submission. They would learn differently today. "Send our response," Jake ordered. Amy transmitted the message. "This is Captain Harrison of the United Earth warship Iron Resolve. You are in human space. This entire sector belongs to Earth by right of first settlement. Leave now or we will make you leave." On the alien ship, Commander Zixatheta could not believe what he heard. His 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of confusion in his species. "Did the translator malfunction?" he asked. "No, Commander. The humans claim this is their space. They are ordering us to leave." Zixatheta laughed again, louder this time. "One primitive ship is threatening a Council patrol? My ship has served the Council for 200 years. We have defeated pirates and rebels from a dozen systems. These humans are either very brave or very stupid." He stood up from his command chair, his tall, thin body unfolded like a spider standing. "Activate the tractor beam. We will capture this amusing little ship and study it. The Council scientists will want to know how humans built something that can travel between stars." The tractor beam was the Council's favorite tool for dealing with primitive species. It could grab any ship and pull it close. Once captured, the target ship could not escape. No species had ever found a way to stop it. The beam generators powered up with a low hum. Green light shot out toward the human ship. Then something impossible happened. The beam hit the Iron Resolve's hull and simply disappeared. It didn't bounce off, it didn't push the ship, it just stopped existing. "What happened?" Zixatheta demanded. His voice rose in pitch, a sign of stress. "Unknown, Commander." "The beam just failed. It's like it was absorbed somehow. Impossible. Increase power and try again." They tried 3 more times. Each time, the result was the same. The tractor beam vanished the moment it touched the human ship. On the Iron Resolve, Chief Engineer Paul Martinez smiled at his console. "Adaptive shields working perfectly, Captain. Their tractor beam frequency has been analyzed and countered. We're creating an inverse wave that cancels it out completely." Jake nodded with satisfaction. "Good work, Paul. Now let's show them what we can do. Helm, execute jump pattern alpha." The pilot, Danny White, was only 25, but he could fly anything. His fingers danced over the controls. "Jump pattern alpha, yes, sir." The human ship's experimental jump drive activated. Unlike the Council's hyperdrive, which took minutes to charge, the human system worked instantly. The Iron Resolve vanished from the alien sensors. One moment it was there, the next it was gone. Before Zixatheta could give an order, alarms screamed across his bridge. The human ship had reappeared behind them less than 1,000 meters away. At that range, it was inside their shield bubble. Their weapons couldn't target something so close. "This is your final warning." Jake's voice came through their speakers. He spoke slowly and clearly. "Leave now, do not come back. Tell your council that humanity will not be enslaved. We will not be harvested, we will defend ourselves." Zixatheta's 4 eyes turned red with anger. No one threatened the Galactic Council. They were the supreme power in this part of the galaxy. These humans needed to learn their place, full reverse. Get us to weapons range, then destroy that ship completely. No survivors. The Eternal Vigil's engines roared to life. The massive ship pulled away from the iron resolve. As soon as they reached proper distance, the patrol vessel's plasma cannons turned toward the human ship. These weapons could destroy asteroids. They had won 1,000 battles against pirates and rebels. Green energy built up in the cannon barrels. Fire. Everything, Zix Theta commanded. 12 plasma beams shot toward the iron resolve. Each one carried enough energy to melt through a meter of solid steel. They hit the human ship's hull in a perfect pattern. The space around the ship lit up green from the impact. When the light faded, the iron resolve was still there, completely undamaged. The green plasma beams faded away. The iron resolve floated in space, completely undamaged. Its dark hull showed no marks, no burns, no damage at all. The adaptive armor had absorbed every bit of energy and dispersed it harmlessly into space. Commander Zix Theta stared at his screens. His 4 eyes blinked rapidly. In 200 years of service, he had never seen anything like this. Council weapons were the best in the galaxy. They had never failed before. "Scan that ship again," he ordered. His voice was quiet now. The confidence was gone. "Commander, their armor is unlike anything in our database. It seems to adapt to our weapons. The molecular structure changes when hit. It spreads the energy across the entire hull and then releases it slowly." On the iron resolve, Jake watched the alien ship on his main screen. He could have destroyed them already. But that wasn't the plan. Earth needed to send a message, not start a war. "Our turn," Jake said calmly. "Target their engines and weapons only. I don't want anyone killed. We disable them and leave them alive to tell their story." Amy's hands moved over her tactical console. Targeting solutions locked. Magnetic accelerator cannons ready. Energy beams charged. Fire. The iron resolve's weapons were unlike anything the Council had seen. Magnetic accelerator cannons fired projectiles at 10% the speed of light. They were simple metal rods, but at that speed, they hit like nuclear bombs. Directed energy beams cut through shields like they were made of paper. The first shot hit the Eternal Vigil's main engine. The projectile punched through the armor and destroyed the power coupling. The engine died instantly. The second shot took out the backup engine. Within 10 seconds, 12 more shots had destroyed every weapon on the alien ship. The Eternal Vigil was helpless. It floated in space with emergency power only. Life support still worked. The crew was alive. But they couldn't move, and they couldn't fight. "Damage report," Zix Theta said. His voice was very quiet now. "Main engines destroyed, all weapons offline. Shield generators damaged beyond repair. We have life support and communications. Nothing else." The commander's 4 eyes focused on the human ship on his screen. In less than 60 seconds, one Earth vessel had defeated a Council patrol ship. This was impossible. Humans were primitives. They had only discovered radio waves 200 years ago. How could they have built something like this? Jake opened a channel to the alien ship. "Commander Zix Theta, your ship is disabled, but your crew is alive. We could have killed you all. Remember that? Remember that we chose mercy." "What do you want?" Zix Theta asked. "Send a message to your council. Tell them humanity has arrived. Tell them we are not prey. We are not resources to be harvested. We are a sovereign species and we will defend ourselves. Any ship that enters our space will meet the same fate as yours. The Council will send fleets, hundreds of ships. Then hundreds of ships will be destroyed," Jake replied simply. "This is one human ship. We have many more. Each one is learning from this encounter. Each one will be harder to defeat than the last." Jake cut the communication. He turned to his crew. "Danny, take us out of here. Random jump pattern. I don't want them tracking us." The iron resolve disappeared into hyperspace, leaving the crippled alien ship behind. Zix Theta and his crew floated in the darkness, waiting for rescue. They had a message to deliver. A message that would shake the entire Galactic Council. 3 days later, the message reached the Council's main station. It was a massive structure, bigger than Earth's moon, floating in the center of council space. Representatives from 47 species lived and worked there. They had ruled the galaxy in peace for 5,000 years. They had never faced a real challenge to their authority. The emergency meeting was called immediately. The great chamber filled with beings of every shape and size. The Altarians stood 3 meters tall with blue skin and long arms. The Kron looked like living tanks covered in natural armor. The Quellans were small and gray with enormous brains. The Vex floated in tanks of liquid methane. Each species had its own section of the chamber. The recording from the Eternal Vigil played on the main screen. Every representative watched as one human ship disabled a council patrol vessel in under a minute. They heard Jake's message. They saw the mercy shown to the defeated crew. "This is unacceptable," the Altarian representative said. His name was Jorvan, and he had served on the council for 300 years. "One primitive species cannot challenge our authority." The Kron delegate stood up. His name was Krelok, and he was a famous admiral. "Send a fleet immediately. Destroy Earth before they become a real threat. We have dealt with rebellious species before." "Wait," said the Quellan representative. Her name was Yinara, and she was known for her intelligence. "How did humans develop this technology? Our last survey of Earth was 50 years ago. They had barely reached their own moon. This advance is impossible." A minor council member from a species called the Yuin raised a tentacle to speak. "Perhaps we have been looking at this wrong. We measure progress by our own standards. It took us 6,000 years to go from fire to starships, but humans are different." "Explain," several voices said at once. "Humans fight each other constantly. Their history is full of wars. We saw this as primitive behavior, but each war pushed them to innovate. They had to create better weapons, better defenses, better strategies, or they would die. Competition drove them forward at incredible speed." "You're saying their violence made them strong?" Krelok asked. "I'm saying their challenges made them creative. When they learned about us, about our plans for Earth, they united. All their countries, all their resources, all their brilliant minds working together. They compressed 1,000 years of development into 50. The chamber fell silent. Every species there had achieved peace before reaching the stars. They had stopped fighting, stopped competing, stopped pushing boundaries. Their technology had remained mostly the same for millennia. Why change what works? But humans had never stopped pushing. They saw a problem and had to solve it. They saw a limit and had to break it. They saw a threat and had to defeat it. On Earth, the secret was still held. Most humans didn't know about the Iron Resolve or the battle in space. They went about their daily lives while their fate was being decided among the stars. Children went to school. Adults went to work. Life continued as normal. But in hidden bases on the Moon and Mars, Earth's defenders prepared for what might come next. Admiral Ruth Coleman commanded the Earth Defense Fleet from her flagship, the Perseverance. She had 12 more ships like the Iron Resolve, each with different weapons and defenses. "Status report," she ordered. Captain Sam Davis, her second-in-command, responded. "All ships report ready, Admiral. The Defiance has finished testing its new shield system. It can now withstand the heat of a star's corona. The Liberty has successfully fired its antimatter torpedoes in testing. One torpedo can crack a small moon." Ruth studied the tactical displays. "And the Council's response? Our spy satellites show massive fleet movements. They're gathering ships from across their territory. Best estimate is 300 vessels minimum." 300 ships, Ruth said quietly. "They really don't understand what they're facing." She was right. The Council was thinking in old terms. They thought numbers would win. They didn't understand that one human ship with adaptive technology could defeat dozens of their vessels. They didn't understand that humans had been preparing for this moment since they first detected alien signals. Back on the Iron Resolve, Jake met with his senior staff. The ship was hidden inside an asteroid, powered down to avoid detection. They were analyzing the battle data from their encounter with the Eternal Vigil. "Their weapons are powerful but predictable," Amy reported. "Plasma beams, particle cannons, antimatter missiles, all following standard patterns we've seen in their communications. Our adaptive systems can counter all of them." Dr. Lisa Chang, the ship's science officer, added her analysis. Their shields operate on a single frequency. Once we know that frequency, we can tune our weapons to pass right through. They haven't updated this technology in over 800 years. What about their tractor beams? Jake asked. Paul Martinez smiled. Child's play. They use a simple graviton projection. We can create an inverse wave that cancels it completely. I've already programmed the counter into all our ships. Good. But we need to be careful. They'll adapt eventually. Maybe slowly, but they will adapt. Sir, Danny White spoke up. I've been thinking, what if we don't want to fight them all? What if we can make them fight each other? Everyone turned to look at the young pilot. Explain, Jake said. The council isn't really united. It's 47 different species with different goals. Some are warriors like the Kron. Some are peaceful like the Quellans. What if we show them that we're only a threat to those who threaten us? We could divide them. Jake considered this. It was a good point. The council ruled by consensus. If they could break that consensus, Earth might avoid a war.